Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Defenders 42, and this issue is the start of the Giffen run. During this run, it is co-plotted and written by Anthony Davis, but not on this one, the first one. This one is written by Gerry, creator of The Punisher. He writes this one, and he only wrote 2 issues of the Defenders, and there's an interesting story behind that. But I'm not going to tell it in this video. This one, it's a bit of a standard superhero story. The Defenders versus a bunch of supervillains. Like, we have got the Hulk there, and he is fighting Rhino Man. And we've got some more of the team here, and they're fighting Solar Man. Luke Cage's Comic Girl Ava, and that is Doctor Strange up there. We kick off straight away when the action begins. The team, they are all in their headquarters, which is just Doctor Strange's house. And who knows what they are talking about, because straight away, Batman suddenly catches on fire. So the Hulk and Luke Cage's, they storm outside across 2 pages, and they want to see what has caused it. And it's Solar Man, who is now dead big and he's all fiery. So they get ready to fight him, and Solar Man, he melts the ground underneath Luke Cage's feet. And then the Hulk, he turns around and Rhino Man is there, so he starts fighting Rhino Man. And Doctor Strange, he flies down to get involved in the fight. And these villains, they are wanting a magical jewel called the Star of Casper. And they reckon that Doctor Strange has it in his house. And this is honestly a decent start. Nice little action scenes and fights. And Luke Cage has, before he was made into a black stereotype by Michael Bryan Benson, Luke Cage's was a good character. This bit with Luke Cage's and Rhino Man is really good. Rhino Man, he comes flying at Luke Cage's, so Luke Cage's grabs him by the horn and swings him around and smashes him straight down into the ground. It's a really good example of visual storytelling as well. Now that Rhino Man has been defeated, Solar Man, he runs to Doctor Strange's house to try and locate the Star of Casper. And now this is Comic Girl Ava's big scene, because she was left behind in the house to nurse Batman, because she is a girl. And now she gets to fight Solar Man herself here. And this is classic Comic Girl Ava. Nice little scene. I am a warrior born, the equal or better of any mortal man. And then the villains, they basically get beat and they're running off. They decide that Doctor Strange, he probably doesn't have the Star of Casper. And they teleport away, they beam off into space. You know, beam me up, Stevie. Classic. I love Star Wars, mate. And we've got another good example of storytelling by Kevin Griffin's art there, with them beaming in. And this guy here, he is like their boss. He's the evil mastermind. He is called Eggman, and he is rubbish. He's hard to take seriously, and he's not really a threat. And he's actually a long-running Defenders villain by this point. There you can see down below, there's a footnote that he was last in gigantic-sized Defenders number 4. So he has fought them a few times, and this is the last time that he ever fights them. He doesn't appear in their book ever again after this story arc. It's quite sad to think that he is probably one of the Defenders' main arch enemies. A lot of adverts here as well. We get told about the Star of Casper, how it is the biggest ruby in all the world, and it comes from a Middle Eastern cult, and it has some mystical connections. And Eggman, he is dead convinced that Doctor Strange must have it, and he is just hiding it somewhere else. So Batman, he is in hospital, he's getting treatment for his wounds, for his burns, and Doctor Strange thinks to himself how odd it is that suddenly Russia Girl has just vanished from the book entirely. She was a member of the team, she was in the run before this, and obviously Gerry Conway, creator of The Punisher, he just wanted rid of her. But she does come back pretty much straight away when his 2 issues are over. He wanted rid of a few characters, and you'll see hints of that later on. Doctor Strange, he is summoned away to visit with the bloke who has actually got the Star of Casper. This guy here, and he is from an odd issue of Doctor Strange. You can see there in a footnote, a really odd issue of Doctor Strange, 136. That is Stanley Lee and Scott Ditko, man. I think that's near the end of that era, because Scott Ditko, man, I think 141 is his last one. And there's the Star of Casper there, and Doctor Strange becomes mesmerised by it. I wonder what is gonna happen. I hope it's not a bonk-ass plotline that does a complete 180, because Gerry Conway was off the book in 2 issues and nobody knew what he was planning with the Star of Casper. Then the Hulk. He is waiting outside the hospital, and it's a cute little bit. He's in a disguise, him in a long coat and a hat. And then the ground starts to shake. And look, it's nobody's favourite villain, Spare Parts Man. He is an odd character. He's just a knockoff Iron Man. And Spare Parts Man, he's such a crap villain. I think this issue is his last appearance for like 30 years. Naturally, it was Kurt Busey who brings him back. Hey, remember comics? I'm Kurt Busey. I remember comics. Spare Parts Man, he is working for Eggman as well, and a fight breaks out. Hulk and Spare Parts Man. Inside the hospital, Luke Cage and the other members of the Defenders, they rush out to help. And Batman, he doesn't even have a shirt on. And that was kind of the Defenders for you, though. It was always a bit offbeat and mildly humorous. So stuff like this, him not wearing a shirt or the Hulk in disguise, it was kind of their thing. Then the 3 super strong members of the team, they all twat Spare Parts Man away. And I really like that. This is a good little picture. Luke Cage as the Hulk and Comic Girl Ava. But the thing is, Spare Parts Man, he is like an atomic bomb and he is set to explode. And Luke Cage has guns. Sweet Christmas. And I thought I had problems on 42nd Street. To be continued. This is a fun little issue. A lot of fights, just a straightforward superhero story. They all had their parts to play. As I said, there is a story behind Gerry Conway, creator of The Punisher, being on this book and being on it shortly. But I'll talk about that in another video. I rate this one 7 thumbs up.